readable from a distance screen, unlike some of the sort of portable radios where the tiny little numbers that you've got to really peer in closely to see. The actual readout's the same size as the K3's readout, which is the desktop radio. But I've got it set up with the computer with a it's just a cable that is running into the mic. I thought it was something I said.
Who gets the privilege to go and hit him?
How dare you say nasty things about A1?
Yeah, that's what did it.
Coughing and spluttering in anger. Anyway, so the computer is set up with just it's designed so that you've got a direct interface into the mic input, which you can use to run spectrum display waterfall, which is there's various programs that you can use. The one I'm using is HD SDR, software defined radio, the SDR bit means.
Is that expensive to get, or is it
free program? But to use it, you have to have the right kind of input from that it can make sense of, and it uses an IQ input, which is used by software-defined radios or receivers, like the one that Jeff's got set up in there, which is a receiver only. But it puts out what they call a phase quadrature signal. Instead of, it doesn't have IF stages as a conventional radio. You wouldn't call it single conversion either, but it goes through, the architecture is quite interesting really. It goes through bandpass filters and it goes through amplification, but then it goes through a system which turns essentially the what is an RF signal into this phase quadrature signal, or IQ, which is a two-channel signal, 90 degrees out of phase, and the digital signal processor is able to convert that to analog audio. But you can tap off that IQ signal and feed it into your computer, and the computer program can do what the radio does. So you can listen to the you can take the audio out of there, as I'm doing here. So I've just got these amplified speakers, so it's better than the little crappy little speaker in the front of it there. But you could just do it all on your computer. If you want to, you can set up computer control, which I haven't done. I prefer to just tune and operate via the rig. But you could put cat control, iterative transceiver control between the two, and you could then just do all the business on the computer. But of course the radio itself is designed as a handheld, completely portable system. It's got a battery compartment inside, and you can just carry that thing around with you as an extremely versatile, lightweight radio with all the functionality of a single sidebeam transceiver. Another thing too is that the fact that it's a software-defined radio that doesn't have all those normal analog and IF stages means that there's very low phase noise, and also generally there's the internal noise background of the rig is extremely low, so that you can hear incredibly weak signals. It would compare with in its sensitivity to top-of-the-line Yaesu FT5000s or the top-of-the-line icons. Of course, it doesn't have all the gazillion knobs and dials and functions that they have, but in terms of actual receiver performance, it will actually match them. But it's only 10 watts, of course, but it's designed field operations. You can always stick an amplifier on the end of it if you want to use it.
So you're saying it's a no bullshit radio, that's what it is.
Basically, yeah. And it's very kind of a bit military style. It's designed with functionality in mind, not to look fancy.
Well, I walked up to it before and just had a glance, like sweep across the front and found the volume knob. First time I couldn't do that with a 950 in there. I can't walk in there and go, oh, look for the AF straight away and go, oh, there it is. Mate, bloody way to go. A beautiful bloody radio, nicely set out.
If you use an Elecraft, you come to appreciate the design that they've built into the functionality to minimise the number of knobs and buttons and yet give you the functionality. So every button is dual function. You can press it, you can tap it, or you can press it, hold it for about half a second, and it has a second function, so that you've got effectively twice. So you put all the less used functions behind in the hold position, and the tap position is for the ones that you want frequently, like, and instead of having things that take up a lot of space on a normal big transceiver, like separate buttons to select every band, it just has band up and band down. So you just step through them. So you don't have the convenience of, oh, I want 20 metres, you press that. But I find, how often do you change bands frequently when you're working on radio anyway? So it's very well designed in that aspect. Another thing too is that you can set up the main knob and the second knob in two different ways. You can have the main knob as VFO-A and VFO-B. You can tune separately on the small knob, but you can just press that knob in and change its function, and you can make it into a fast tune knob, so you can rip through the band in whatever step size you want to select. So if you're contesting, for example, I can put that back on the other function, the fast tune function, and unfortunately there's no signals. Are there any signals? The band's just absolutely dead as a doornail. For some reason, I was talking to Jeff about this before, who sort of explained to me, you get a sort of like ghost signal in the middle of your tuning point, which is a spectrum spike, and I don't know how you get rid of that at this stage on this program, but it's something to do with the way the system works. So that is not actually a signal, that waterfall white line and the spike in the middle. The main thing I want with this is for field use. I think it's a huge advantage. I think if anyone who's worked with a rig that's got a spectrum scope, it's hard to go back to not having a spectrum scope anymore, because it's just such a huge advantage. It's not like when I first introduced to amateur radio, people would sit there and go, there's knob twirling thing, listening, trying to find the signals, and you can easily bypass them, because if someone just makes a pause, you'll miss it as you go past it. Whereas a spectrum scope, you just watch the spectrum, and the type of sound card you're using, it's using the computer's internal sound card, defines how much spectrum you can actually observe. So this has got a 48 kilohertz sound card, so I get 48 kilohertz of spectrum. The sampling rate of the sound card is directly related to the spectrum you can observe. So you want a better performance sound card, so this is 48 is fairly good for a built-in one.
The signals deliberately attenuated over 3K.
Yeah, the signalling's not a suitable thing at all. You want a high quality audio.
Yes, it's rubbish.
Yeah, so that spectrum there, you can see the dial readout between the waterfall and the spectrum. That's just kilohertz across the top there, and so there's a bit of a signal there, see on the right. So I can just tune and bring that into the. Okay, well, it's just noise, but unfortunately we need someone to go and transmit on 40 so we can find them. But the band's just gone dead as far as I can tell. But as you tune, the scope moves up and down as you tune. So you just tune onto the signal. And for contesting, it's absolutely the bee's knees to have a scope. It just gives you a huge advantage. You can immediately find a vacant spot if you want one, or you can find where the big signals are and you can see what they're doing.
Well, like you said about the dialing, I saw it at the Lighthouse weekend, last year I think you showed me your scope on your other Elecraft, that like when you said you're dying without it, you could go all the way down that road and realise there was someone chatting a few kcs higher than the other, and you wouldn't have to bother doing that. You'd see it on the thing and go, oh, there he is, great.
Yeah. An advantage of implementing cat control is that allows you to just drag, like it won't, you can put a cursor on here and you could click there, and if you've got cat control enabled, it'll just jump to that signal. So you just say, oh, there's the signal over there, right, I want that, bing, and you're on it. Which is like how the P3 pan adapter with the Elecraft knows what the rig is doing, and they talk to each other. So that, and it's just amazing, like under those circumstances, what a difference it makes. It changes your modus operandi enormously on HF. I mean, it's pretty useless on repeaters and 2 metres. It's just not applicable in channelized situations, but where you've got just open spectrum, it's enormously useful. I don't use waterfalls much really. Unfortunately, the waterfall takes up a lot more space in the spectrum window. Unfortunately, it won't allow you to change that. But you can also, with the software, you can record. You can just hit the record button and record any signals that you want to. You can change various aspects of the way the display works. Oh, I just hit something I shouldn't have there. I'm just going to change the bandwidth. So you've got various things that you can control. So you can actually use the computer on its own. Okay. Well, I'll put it on 7100. That'll be easy. I won't be able to reply because I'm only on this 9-volt plug pack. I forgot to bring my power lead. Didn't want to do that when we go out on an expedition. And it just says, sorry, I'm not transmitting, there's not enough voltage.
Okay.
So 9-volt is only very marginal as far as the rig is concerned. But it is multi-voltage, like it'll run between 9 and 15 volts.
Okay.
And it's probably a bit like the 817 in that respect, that actually the internals only require 5 volts because it's all mostly computerised. And it's all, another thing about it, this particular radio is that it's designed to absolutely minimise power consumption for battery life. You can turn the display backlighting off. You can choose through the menu how you want to minimise its power consumption, and it'll run like 15 milliamps on receive, which is when you transmit, you can't do much about transmitting, because if you want power, you have to supply X amount of amps. Whoa! I might just I won't be able to talk back to you because I can't transmit at the moment.
Just keep raving.
Turn the power down a bit. Yeah. So if I'm tuned off, okay, so there's this signal there. There's that central spike, and all I do is as I just tune on, following, oh, it's gone. Oh, well, it was there, but anyway. So it's very, very easy. It's just quite intuitive once you get the hang of it. It's I find I use the spectrum scope all the time now for HF work. I don't think I could go back. I have gone back, but I find it difficult. The only obvious drawback portable is that you're not going to be able to carry a computer like wrapped down here in the backpack. But a lot of people are using iPads, or very compact. I don't know whether you might even be able to adapt the smartphone into a spectrum scope. Anything that'll run Windows. I don't know that there's an Android version. You know,
there's an HR. There's a version of HRD cut down for Android.
per Android.
Yeah.
I wonder if that will make sense of an IQ signal.
I don't know.
But it's not. It's got to be more than cat control. It's got an IQ decipher.
I'm sure one will come out though.
There's got to be one will come out eventually. Like,
Yeah,
that'd be the ultimate, is to have a large size smartphone with a rig that size. You've got HF6
Or an Android tablet.
a tablet. Yeah, that's the go. But I can't test it because I don't have it. I've only got laptops, so. But that's the obvious solution, is to have a low power portable thing that will run. Oh, there he is. There he was. See, that centre spike is a bit annoying. So if I can figure out a way to get rid of it, I will. Sorry? It's always been there ever since I started using it, and I've read a bit about it. Jeff was sort of explaining to me why it's there. But obviously you adjust the spectrum scope so that your base noise floor is visible, like that. That's too much. So you make your general noise floor just above the bottom line, and this one essentially adjusts the gain. It expands the range so you can see things like that, just like any spectrum scope. But the big advantage is that you don't have to have a IQ system, is that you don't have to buy expensive pan adapters. No. You just use your computer with freeware. So that's about it really. If anyone has any other questions.
Now how long did the Elecraft take to put together?
That thing, it's sort of, they call it a kit, but you really just, it's like Meccano, you just bolt everything together. And the only thing you've got to be good at is putting screws and things in the right places and not getting all your construction bodged up. There's no soldering. I'll turn it off and I can show you.
So to put it in layman's terms, even ZDR could probably make one of them.
It took me, I think, 5 hours. 5 hours with numerous coffee breaks in between to put it together. Yeah, you could though. No.
Oh, there you go. That's how easy it is, guys. That's how easy it is.
ZDR proof.
Yeah. Well, I don't
Just
know.
take the power out. So the IQ system is simply just a cable. Just a cable. That carries the phase quantum signal out of the radio into there. So it's an entirely different so the IQ is a digital. No, is it an analog? Is it an analog or a digital? It's analog, isn't it? IQ. The IQ outputs. They're digital. Yeah, so but they're going into the mic input. Yeah, but is the IQ is a digital signal or an analog signal? It must be digital. Yeah. I'm only just sort of starting to learn about the architecture of the SDRs, but it's completely different, you know. You've basically got a local oscillator which runs very close to your receive frequency, and then they mix together. There's no IFs at all. Everything's done in software, and I've installed also a narrow crystal filter to minimise the effect of close-in stations, which can overload and destroy your sensitivity. But inside, got these little fold-down feet, and you just undo these little screws here. The radio comes apart like that. So you've got the control, you've only got 2 circuit boards, a control board, the bottom's the RF board that holds all the RF circuitry. You can see the bandpass filters there, and the amplifier basically is at the bottom there, where I'm touching at the bottom. You see the little RF output transformers, and they're just linked with a cable. So basically, to build it, you have to, the hard part's getting all the standoffs set in correctly in the right position, and then you just install the circuit boards, put knobs on, connect wires up into the correct places, and the radio's built.
I always find ribbon cables are the hardest part myself, trying to get them to go in, because they're so flexible.
Oh, this was a snap. They just plugged in straight away. Simple. No problem at all. The only thing is you've got to be careful, obviously, when you open it up, you don't rip the cable out. But there's there's battery holders which I haven't installed because I don't like the particular arrangement that they've got for the battery holder. It sort of
So you use
requires a bit
internal
too much.
instead of internal.
You can use internal batteries. It takes eight AAs. But I haven't installed it yet. It'll run for 5 hours or something like 8 AAs with about 5% duty cycle between them.
I'd be too worried about if they leaked, if you accidentally
Yeah,
inside that radio.
Well, that's the other thing too, is I don't like the
Play it
idea of batteries inside any radio unless it's in a separate compartment.
I'd rather carry a
But it's
battery
in there
belt.
right next to the circuit board.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit dodgy. Like any leakage is going to, it's all surface mount.
That's right,
It's nearly all surface
that's
mount.
what my MFJ analyzer, I never use internal batteries with that.
And the other part of the whole package, what I'm going to do is get the whole thing assembled into a carry case with battery, the works all set up. Normally you use headphones with it. So I have a portable 12 volt amplified speaker thing, so I can hear it a bit better than the internal speakers. Pretty weak little thing. It works, but in a noisy environment it's inadequate. And also I'll fit in, this is the Elecraft T1 tuner, which is a 20 watt auto tuner, size of a cigarette packet, which is a brilliant little thing, all BMC. So a very good match for that. Like there's your complete radio tuner, add a battery, and you're in business. No, well that's it. Mind the last.